Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad to see you all here, and I'm glad to be here in this wonderful and exciting country. And many thanks to the organization team. It is wonderful here. Thank you. And my talk is about a document at the Geological Archive at the Department of Geology in Vienna, about Eduard Suess' concept of eustatic sea level movement during his research in the Moldanubicum in Lower Austria, the cross-section of Eggenburg-Horn. Just a short overview about my content. The area of the Moldanubicum and the tethys, paratethys, Eduard Suess' estate at the Geological Archive, the relations between Suess, Kober and Tolman, and the main topic, Suess cross-section, Eggenburg-Horn, and the conclusion. So where are we? This is Vienna, and it's this is a geological map of the Geological Archive. I'm now in the organization of all the maps, geological maps in the archive, and it takes me long time because it's really hundreds of geological maps to organize. So this is the map from 1955 from Beckmann Ageta, a well-known geologist, and Vienna surrounded by the Vienna Basin in yellow, and here the Eastern Alps in blue, and here is the area. This is, I'm talking about this cross-section, Eggenburg and Horn. This is part of the Moldanubicum, which belongs to the Bohemian Massif. Another map from Fuchs Matura from 1976. It's a geological map of the Bohemian Massif, and just a part of it, here's Eggenburg and Horn, and you can see parts of the Bohemian Massif, Moldanubicum, and here these are the schists and in gray, and the metamorphic sediments. They are called bunte serie, and these are the microschists, and this is called the Dobra Gneis. And the white part here between are the sediments of younger age, especially of the Miocene epoch and the regional stage of the Eggenburgian formation. And here you have the legend to it. And here just the put from the museum in Zogelsdorf, which is close to Eggenburg. There's a famous museum there. And you got this table about the Miocene and the Eggenburgian formation and the subformation, which I'm talking a little bit later too. And during my organization, I discovered this old map from 1849, the geognostic map of the surroundings of Krems and the Mannhardsberg, and you will see here Eggenburg again and Horn, and also there is the Buntes area at that time was already and on the map down written. And Johann Zizek was a member of a geological survey of the Austrian monarchy in that time. Tethys and Gondwana, these are two terms which go back to supercontinent, go back to Eduard Suess, and about 330 million years ago. And at that time, the Moldanubicum zone, tectonic unit, was formed during the Variscian orogeny about 350 million years ago. And here, this This part is about the surroundings of Vienna, and I'm talking about also about the Moldanubicum. And here a later map, the part of the late Tethys, also Vienna here, named Paratethys, and is shown on the map on the here, about 15 million years ago in the Miocene epoch. This is now the first page of the cross-section, which it is one of the highlights of the Geological Archive. And this geological cross-section from Eggenburg to Horn, drawn by Eduard Suess and colored with watercolor, consists 18 single sheets of strong, smooth paper with the following dimension. The height is about 40 centimeters and the variable width of individual sheets from 22 to 24 centimeters. And the sheets are tied together with stripes on linen. Its total length is about 433 centimeters. This way held up well during Suess field trips with his students and colleagues in the field. And the first page here with the title and handwritten notes by Leopold Kober and Alexander Tollmann. Here is Leopold Kober. He was head of the Geological Institute in Vienna between 1936 and 1937, and again between 1945 and 1945 and 54. And Alexander Tollmann, here on the right side, he was head of the Geological Institute in Vienna between 1972 and 1984. Yes, and this photo was taken in the courtyard of the university in 1953. It is already inventorized at the Geological Archive. And on the first page, Tollmann just put some notes on it. He said this cross-section was painted by Eduard Suess, and there are some notes inside, I will just point on it again, were done by pencil by Leopold Kober, and this cross-section was done about in the 60s of the 19th century. And Eduard Suess recorded the buildings, and this is the cross-section of Eggenburg-Horn from east to west. We'll continue. And here he recorded the buildings and structures of the medieval city of Eggenburg, and also the wall on this third and fourth sheet. And under the first part of the city, here on the third sheet, there's a detailed drawing of rock sequences in the basement of an area of a house in Eggenburg. And this house still exists, and beside there is an inn, and this is today a hotel. And the colors of the individual rock layers are here described, and they said sand in yellow and orange, tegel in blue, granite in the basement in red, and limestone in green. And here, and also the fossils of the Eggenburgian Sea are listed in the sediment layers over there and here. You can see it in the different colors of yellow, green, and blue. And the fifth sheet shows a granite surface with a fault. Above the granite sediments and tegel in the colors yellow, orange for sandstone and blue for tegel. There he mentioned there's a fossil Ostrea longirostris and a small sequence of brown colored clay. Here Suess note the fossils contained in the sedimentary rock from bottom to top. These fossils are indicative of today's stratigraphy units of the Kühnring subformation and Burgschleinitz formation, which are close to Eggenburg. And you also have in Sands, I just wrote down the Austria Longirostris. And here the Wittelsberg is on the east side of Eggenburg, and it's totally granite. The cross-section is continued towards the west with violet watercolors in sloping lines characteristic of mica schists, and it's a sequence of rocks with no further discussion or reference to any other geological event. And now from the cross-section continued to the settlement of Maria Dreieichen. Maria Dreieichen, here we've got this church and some houses around it. It's a place of for pilgrims, and after the location of Dreieichen, Suess draws a small valley and a short rock sequence with tegel, underlying sand, and a slope, and again a small sequence of sand on the tegel. In the publication, I'm talking about it later, he described this rock as limestone. The last 3 pages are characterized by the red-colored hill of granite of the Galgenberg. And here, perhaps a little bit, you can see it. This pencil notes, this was done by Leopold Kober. And the cross-section ends here of the little town of Horn. And? No? Yeah? Oh, yes, now it goes. And here we see the whole painting of this cross section of about 433 centimeters. This is how it looks like today. Last year, we at the symposium, Erbe Symposium Eggenburg, a small group was climbing up the Wittelsberg, and this is the top, the granite, and the overview of around the Wittelsberg, the soft hills, which are remnants of the Paratethys. In 1866, Suess published his scientific research of his area in the reports of the Royal Academy in Vienna. There he described intensely all the fossils he had discovered in this area. And he also gives an excellent overview about the rock formation of this area. And also here's a graphic in black and white, and you can see this can follow this cross section, and there's a gap in between because this is the part of the mica schist where nothing happened. So he said, so we have to shorten it and cut it. At the Geological Archive, there exists a document about an excursion into this area. Eduard Suess made some notes about the content of the excursion. Here we can see the signatures of the people who took part in this excursion. At this occasion, Suess used his cross-section to explain the local geology and related fossils. So in 1863, and it took Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And they were going through the field, and between the Eggenburg and Horn, there's a distance of 13 kilometers today. And yeah, that's a document. In his book, Erinnerungen, Memories, he reassumed that the fossils and the different sediments of the sea led him to the theory that there was an ocean in this part with different sea levels. His theory about the sea level movement started there during his studies in the surroundings of Eggenburg. And there he mentioned that he was on field trip there in 1860 to in the summer of 1860 and 1861. And this is the book with the first pages and also his portrait. And in his book about the memories, which were published 1916 posthum by his son, and there's a very nice painting of a picture of his geological field books, and you also can see that Suess was an excellent painter, and this is wonderful. You can see the nice surrounding of Eggenburg. The cross-section gives us an idea of an excellent painter and observer. Suess' studies of the fossils and lithologies in this area led to the theory of sea level movement, which he named eustatic movement. Today, sea level movements are referred to as transgression and regressions. Thank you for your attention.
So thank you for staying precisely in the times. And there is also time for some questions. Thank you.